morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
And my name's James, aka FBL Jog.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. An okay week for me and Sky. Decent set of games.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I know you had a decision to make in yesterday's Arsenal Palace game, which potentially didn't go your way, but we'll come on to that at the end, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Right, as always, we'll do our match week rundown. We'll talk about our teams, and then we've got a few questions at the end. And I also want to touch on the fixtures because we finally had the fixture announcements for November and December, so we'll come on to that at the end. But as always, thanks courtesy to FF Stuff, we jump onto the games. And first things first, it was Watford 0, Liverpool 5.
Yeah, fantastic game. Fantastic performance from Mo Salah. Brilliant goal. We spoke enough about him in recent weeks. He is essential, a season keeper, if you will.
Yeah, 100%.
For our team easily. You want to captain him basically almost in every game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't talk much more about Salah, but with regards to the back two, easily hitting passing tier. 106 passes for Matip and 96 for Van Dijk.
Yeah,
it's what we want to see. Van Dijk owners, obviously, it costs a lot of money, so you want to be hitting those tiers and a clean sheet as well.
absolutely. It was a nice 10
It's what you want. Yeah, I don't think. I'd like to know Firmino's ownership actually.
Yeah, you can have a look whilst I talk about the rest of it. So obviously Hendo there picked up 103 passes in the game. Really unlucky not to hit tackle tier. He got 3 tackles. Obviously Bobby Firmino there, shot tier, got a hat trick, got an assist. Although Salah got man of the match, which was an interesting one. And I thought, because obviously Trent's got, I think, still got a reasonable ownership. Incredibly unlucky, obviously taken off in the 65th minute, off with 59 passes. So just missed out on an additional 2 points there, and very likely would have got past in tier 2 come the end of the game had he stayed on. So that's really unfortunate compared to the likes of Van Dijk and Matip.
Yeah, it is. And Firmino is owned by 1.5% of the game and 0.1% of the top 1,000 players.
Wow. And you compare that to Mo Salah, in which he's owned by 92.5% of the top 1K. I'd like to know who the other 7.5% is.
How are they in there?
Yeah,
how are they in the
exactly.
top 1K?
75 managers in the top 1K don't own him. It's unbelievable. Christ. Well, I think we move on to a game that doesn't look particularly pretty in terms of Sky points, but it was a cracking game, and really a game that was flipped on its head in the last 15 minutes. It was Aston Villa 2, Wolves 3.
Yeah, a crazy game. I think people may be on some Villa players with a view to covering that Villa Southampton fixture.
I've got Martinez.
I was going to say probably Martinez.
Yeah,
so obviously, bit of a disappointment in this game. No save tier, no clean sheet, 3 conceded. It's not great.
Got a big fat 0.
On the Wolves side, I myself have Sarr and Size in one team. So very happy with Size
scoring.
I bet
you were. Yeah.
Yeah, loving life. Very unexpected, but you'll take it. And it gives me confidence for the future of Wolves based on this performance. It's maybe not defensively, but it's going to be a boost for their team spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess the other talking point is the fact that Danny Ings was the one got the goal this time round. Got himself shot tier 1. Watkins got booked. No shots on target. But I honestly think that will switch regularly between the two. So if you are going to jump on one, whether you want to or not for this Friday, you've probably already gone there if you had. I just think, it's a flip of a coin at the end of the day. It's a tough decision, and they're both similar price. I think there's 0.1 in it. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. Jumping on then to a game in which we expected goals. Not sure we expected David De Gea to pick up 7 saves. It was Leicester 4, Man United 2.
Yeah, a lot of goals in this game. De Gea 7 saves, and that's without the 4 that went past him.
Yeah.
crazy game. But Tielemans, the kind of notable standout return for Sky players. Obviously, a goal, shot tier, passing tier. Jamie Vardy doing well. He's in one of my teams and has been for this run. So I did consider moving him on after this game, but there was no one I really wanted to go to.
No,
So
no.
I'm just going to stay with him, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tielemans, I think it was a 15-pointer because he got man of the match as well.
Oh, yeah,
It's one hell of
lovely.
a return, and I'm annoyed with myself because I own Tielemans pre-overhaul, um, and I just decided price-wise that I was going to go elsewhere. And
That's one of those.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's definitely kind of kicked me in the arse with that because he's been a returner and he's one of those midfielders that in Sky is quite consistent. So yeah, I might, if I have to at some point with Leicester coverage, look to go back there.
definitely. I mean, we spoke about all those sort of CDMs a few pods ago, and yeah, just getting those returns.
Yeah, and I guess that the fact that Perez and Daka, their stats really sums up how Leicester basically put Man United to the sword in the last 15 minutes because Perez came on in the 73rd minute, got 2 assists. Daka came on in the 77th minute, got a goal and 3 shots on target. So yeah, I think Man United kind of fell apart, and obviously Soyuncu, Vardy, and Daka scoring 78, 83, and 90th minutes. So it's one of those games where they really just ran at them, and I'm worried about Man United personally. If you're on Ronaldo, I think it's probably time to move on for now. There are Man United games we'd want to go back to in Sky, which we can touch on later, but I don't think you're likely to captain him anytime soon. So I'd probably be moving him on if you're still on him.
That's a fair shout.
Jumping on then to a game in which probably annoyed a few with a little bit of rotation there. Obviously, Ruben Dias being the main one. It was Man City 2, Burnley 0.
Yeah, Diaz proven he can be dropped, which is a bit of a shame for one of my Sky teams.
Same.
Cancelo, I think, is if anything, seems to be playing nearly every game,
Yeah.
which is brilliant because you don't even expect him to play every game. So to see him get a clean sheet and pass into is music to my ears. Bernardo Silva, a goal and passing tier just about.
Yep. Yeah.
He's been
60.
yeah, just about got there, but he's been okay recently. Rodri and comfortably hitting passing tier, as did Ake. Obviously, you're going to go nowhere near Ake due to rotation.
Nah.
Yeah, the more nail players, other than say Cancelo, didn't really do too well.
No. I mean, obviously, you'd expect DS to probably play the majority. I guess the main talking point for me was the fact that John Stones returned to the Man City squad. So he didn't pick up tears in this game, but he's maybe trying to find his way back into the fold. And obviously, he played Ake. It was what I guess Ake was out wide, but it was technically three centre backs in there: Stones, Laporte, and Ake. I'd probably expect Diaz to come back in at the weekend. Ake would miss out then, but I can't see them playing Stones, Laporte, and Diaz as well as say Cancelo and or a Walker and Zinchenko. So I'm keen to see which one drops out because Stones isn't playing in the Champions League game tonight. He hasn't travelled, I think, due to personal reasons, which means that obviously the others are. Now, if Stones is back in contention, does that mean he then comes in again at the weekend if his personal reasons have, bottomed themselves out?
Potentially, yeah. I've just seen that Cancelo scored in the Champions League,
As they are,
so
there we go.
there you go. Attacking returns, we
Oh,
know what he
man.
does.
Such a good player. I don't own him in either of my Sky teams and desperately trying to find a way of getting him into at least one. Right, moving on to what was a pretty dire game, to be honest. Nothing to really talk about in Sky either, and the fact that Dunk got past in Tier 1, but it was Norwich 0, Brighton 0.
Yeah, not much to discuss. A lot of yellows across the board, but I don't think people really, maybe on a few Brighton players, but nothing really to talk about on this one.
No, not really. Obviously, Duffy's in there still. Whether he stays much longer, I think Webster is back, or at least due back. So we could see Duffy possibly dropping out. That's one to keep an eye on. I know he's probably still quite highly owned. Other than that, yeah, I think we just move on, mate, and move on to a game that I attended. It was Southampton 1, Leeds 0.
Yeah, watched the game at home, and it was a brilliant performance from Saints. Unexpected a little bit, but I guess Leeds without a few key men, so Bamford, Phillips, and obviously Rafinha.
Yeah.
I, like many others, I think have held Rafinha because obviously he's just been a great player, and
Yeah, 100%.
just obviously he only missed out really due to the time he had back from South America.
Yeah.
So yeah, great to see Broja scoring for us, and
Played very
also hitting
well.
shots here as well.
Yeah, Brozier played very well. I wouldn't be surprised, providing fitness, because he went off with a knock, that I think he will start again at the weekend against Burnley, just because of his aerial ability and his strength. I think key assets going up against obviously that quite tough Burnley backline. I think he's probably more suited to a performance like that rather than Adam Armstrong, who obviously was benched this game and didn't even come on.
Agreed.
Moving on then to a game in which we probably expected a clean sheet, although a lot of us are on Rudiger, who picked up a knock before the game. It was Brentford 0, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, a fantastic defensive performance, goalkeeping performance from Mendy.
Unbelievable.
6 saves. It felt like 100 saves.
Yeah.
He was getting bombarded by Brentford. They were pinging balls in. They hit the post in Bremo. It was. I'm amazed they kept a clean sheet in the end, if I'm honest, and very grateful for a Christensen clean sheet and passing tier. That definitely makes up for his non-appearance last week.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to be sort of a case of riding the storm with players like Christensen. I think he should feature in most of the games.
Yeah, you'll take a 10-pointer. I mean, he was the only player in that Chelsea back line to get passing tier, and obviously he got himself passing tier 2 there. I think the interesting shout was the fact that Azpilicueta played ahead of Reece James as right wing back, and it was Sarr that came in alongside Chalobah as the two centre backs with Christensen. I think I've seen that Rudiger is back in training, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back. And obviously Thiago Silva, I think, is back obviously after the international break. Whether he plays the Champions League game this week and then maybe misses out the weekend again, who knows? Because it's Norwich. No offense to Norwich, but I think it's probably a good time to rest a few. And one of those players that I'm worried about is Lukaku. Was he taken off in the 77th minute in this game? Didn't get any shot on target again. And Tuchel's comments worry me a little bit because he speaks about the fact that Lukaku is mentally tired and feels that he's played too much over the summer and in the Nations League. If Lukaku plays against Malmo in the Champions League this week, I am concerned that he doesn't start against Norwich this weekend, even though you've got the Carabao Cup the following week.
Yeah, it's a fair concern to have. Are you already on him?
No, see, I was tempted. I've not got Lukaku at the moment, and I did initially have the plan to go there. I honestly think even if I see the lineup, because obviously we get to see the lineup with the early kickoff, I think I'll just go with either Rudiger or Azpilicueta, and we'll come on to captaincy coverage at the end. But I might just save my 2 transfers because I'm probably going to bring Lukaku in if I was for 2 to 3 games and then ship him out again. I think I'm just going to hold and stick with not using 2 transfers and use the Chelsea centre backs because, as we've seen regularly, they can pick up 10-pointers. I fully expect them to pick up passing tier against Norwich, and I'd be shocked if they didn't keep a clean sheet. So I'd take a 20-pointer captaincy. Lukaku would have to get 2 attacking returns to match that.
Yeah, I understand the logic. I think it's actually less risky to go for Chelsea defence than it is Lukaku because it's in my head that clean sheet is way more nailed on than him scoring.
Yeah.
However, I guess the ceiling is higher for Lukaku.
Yeah.
If you were to, he could get a hat trick,
He could.
and he'd be a captain, and that could be 40 points.
Yeah. If he goes big, it's going to hurt
And
massively.
I think with the team sheet, I think if we didn't see the team sheet, I'd be more worried, like you've been saying. But I think because we can see the team sheet, I think you've got to go there if you're, say, there's one striker you're not particularly happy with.
Yeah, no, agreed. Like say you're on Ronaldo. Yes, I know you don't get the fixture game, but if it was part of your plan, I'd probably still go Ronaldo over Lukaku because I know in Sky we don't often say make the transfer on the Saturday because you don't make the fixture game, but I think Lukaku probably outscores Ronaldo over the next three, and he's probably the man you want to be on with. And if you do jump on him, you're going to captain him. Are you captain Ronaldo? No. So, yeah, I think that could be a call if you're still on CR7. Right, moving on then to the Sunday games. And first things first, it was Everton 0, West Ham 1.
Yeah, another defeat for Everton. A tight one, and not too much to talk about in terms of tiers. Declan Rice picking up passing tier, another assist for Bowen, and also hitting shot tier. Bit disappointing, obviously, for Antonio.
Yeah.
Captain one of my teams to get booked as well is just not what you want to see.
Nah, frustrating.
I'm also on Benrahma as well, and he's sort of obviously going off the boil, so to speak.
He is, yeah. Benrahma's one that I'm keeping an eye on because, again, yeah, I've got him in both my teams at the moment, actually. And I can't see a way of getting rid. But I think I'm going to have to because it might be a case of, say, we'll come on to the fixtures soon, but a Benrahma to say an Mbeumo might be a good move if you're on him because we do need Brentford. And I genuinely, believe that Benrahma is slowly going off the boil a little bit. They also have Europa League again on Thursday. So is that going to, affect minutes and kind of attacking returns? So for me, Antonio probably a hold. Benrahma might be looking to sell.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then the other point, which again we'll come on to, is Everton Assets. I think we're going to need to hold, and we'll discuss why shortly. The issue being that if you're on Decore, you're probably incredibly unfortunate because it sounds as though he's probably out for at least 6 to 8 weeks with a metatarsal injury. Could have been a lot worse by the rumours this morning. But the club have kind of announced he doesn't need surgery, but it's probably 6 to 8 weeks, so that's really unlucky.
Yeah, it just happens in this game, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on to the final game on the Sunday, and obviously the first game for the new Saudi ownership at Newcastle. It was Newcastle 2, Spurs 3.
Yeah, a very good game, this one. Newcastle got off to a fantastic start. The crowd were right behind them, and it was a great header from Callum Wilson.
It was, yeah.
Just looks like he's just picked up where he left off. Very impressed with him. See, finally a goal for Harry Kane.
Oh, mate, I was so happy. I went Harry Kane captain because obviously, as we know and spoken about, I've had him in my team for a few weeks. This was again one of the games that I brought him in because I knew I was going to captain him, and thank fuck he got a goal and an assist. Didn't even hit shot tier, but I didn't care because it was finally some attack and returns, and it feels weird that it's been 8 game weeks and Harry Kane's finally got his first goal and his first assist.
Yeah, long overdue. Højbjerg returning for me again.
Mate, your shout with Højbjerg.
I think he should have got a man of the match. This is insane. His stats, he is literally got 99 passes, 9 tackles. That deserves like extra points.
It does, yeah. It's ironic that sums up 999 because obviously the game was kind of marred by a 20-minute period in which I think it was Eric Dyer and Reguilon alerted the referee that there was unfortunately a Newcastle fan was having a cardiac arrest in the ground. Thankfully, with obviously the attention and the swift action of both players and fans, it sounds as though the man's going to be okay, which is good. But yeah, that kind of obviously marred it a little bit. Spurs came back on. Son scored before half time, probably to piss off owners or those that sold, because it was deemed that we actually thought he had COVID. Probably more of an FPL thing in terms of getting rid of him there and then. But yeah, if you did have Son, or you were tempted to bring him in for that game and didn't, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, very tough luck. I've just seen the stats on Højbjerg, and he's only in 1% of top 1K's teams.
Oh, mad, honestly,
So he's been doing bits for me.
yeah, he was exceptional last season, and I think it was because of Spurs' start. Obviously, most people just stayed away, but you've fair play to you. You've banged on about him every pod, and he's continued to return. All right, let's jump on to the final game of the week, and the game in which there was a real split on captaincy. And I guess these two Arsenal fixtures, this one gone, and then the one coming up on Friday, really summed up the mindset of the community in terms of planning and which way to go. And it kind of paid off for both those that went Aubameyang and those that stuck with Gallagher. It was Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2.
Yeah, very good game. Had a bit of everything in it. Arsenal did look very comfortable at first.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to go on to keep the clean sheet, and
likewise.
I captained Ben White in both my teams. Yeah, I also own Gallagher as well. I've got White for the Arsenal coverage. I had Gallagher to cover that Palace Brighton game. I thought I'd only have, like, looking back weeks and weeks ago, I thought I'd only have one player for this game. But yeah, I've ended up with two. And I've captained the wrong one in both teams. It's a bit frustrating. I've gone with Ben White, but it was close. I was so close to doing Gallagher, and to be honest, he could have got a clean sheet.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, quite a few people a few weeks back brought in Aubameyang, and obviously that was going to provide coverage for this Arsenal game, and obviously the game against Villa. When Aubameyang scored that early on, I think it was 8 minutes. I thought, oh fuck, here we go. Like, this is going to be a killer. Like, those that have gone with him are going to get 2 goals and an assist in this game. Palace look like they're going to bend over. Arsenal at home, they're going to have some fun. And thankfully, that was all he got. He didn't even get shot here. Got 7 points. Conor Gallagher, obviously getting himself 2 shots on target. I thought, oh, brilliant. I'll take the shot here. He had no tackles until I think it was the 78th minute, and then he got his first. And in the end, in the last 10 minutes, he picked up 4 tackles. He's got himself tackle tier 1 there as well, and picked up man of the match. So it was a 9-pointer, obviously up to 18. So I honestly think it was kind of honours even, really, for those that went with Aubameyang and those that stuck with Gallagher. The big call will be Friday, because I think the split will be between Aubameyang and Emi Martinez. I think are going to be the 2 highest owned captains for this Friday. Obviously, if Aubameyang scores, it wipes out Martinez's clean sheet. So yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one to watch.
Yep, fair shout.
Out of interest, who are you going to be on for Friday?
I think it's going to be Ben White again.
Yeah.
In both teams. However,
we'll take a 0-0.
Team 1, I could, if I fancy punting on anyone in particular, I could do. Obviously, I don't have Villa or Southampton coverage, so I could actually go Villa.
You could, yeah.
And go, say, whoever I fancy. But
who's your goalkeeper?
I may just stick with Ben White. My goalkeeper's Meslier.
Okay, so you could.
In Team 1.
You could potentially go Meslier to Martinez if you could afford it.
Yeah, potentially. If I fancy him over Ben White, maybe. I've got 38 transfers in Team 1, 36 in Team 2. So I could.
You could afford to make a transfer, mate.
Yeah, I could do. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe Ben White will do the business this time round. He was only 4 passes off of passing tier.
Yeah, no, he was unlucky.
Mainly thanks to Tomiyasu in the last 10 minutes. Loads of groans from the Arsenal fans. I was cheering him on. I was like, yes, Tomiyasu, keep passing
it back to Ben White. And I bet you, when obviously you thought that he got the assist there, but it ended up being a Marinelli. Yeah, it was.
I knew that wouldn't be a Sky assist anyway. No. But in terms of FPL, I thought that was going to get given. But heartbreak.
You got yourself banned, mate.
I did.
Yeah, for those that try and contact James on Twitter, you can't at the moment because he's currently suspended after tweeting some profanities to FPL Towers.
Hopefully, I'll get my account back.
Fucking
If not,
bellend.
I'm going to be. I'll have to start again.
You were unbelievable. We'll get your account back, don't worry. Right, should we have a look at then our teams before we jump on to the questions and then touch on fixtures at the end?
Yeah, why not? So for me, team one, the team with 38 transfers, is sat at 3K, 3,008. It got 94 this week. Salah 32, Van Dijk 10, Christensen 10, Cancelo 10, Gallagher on 9, Vardy in there as well. So I'm quite happy with how this team has been performing. Hence why I've not really made any transfers.
Is that the team with 38?
Yeah.
You're in such a good position there because my B team, I've used 6 transfers on that one. I'm on 34. That's at 2.9k. So you're only just behind that, and you've got 4 extra transfers.
Happy days.
I think you're honestly, I think you're in a really good position with that team, particularly with the fact that you've only used 2. Like you can really attack fixtures if you want to.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to actually sort of using them. Um, team two, on the other hand, it's 4.8k. It's used. Well, it's got 36 left. 77 for this team. Did okay. Kind of suffered with Rafinha on 0 and Diaz on 1, but apart from that, had kind of the Salah points in there, Trent points, size goal, Højbjerg on 11. It's done okay, but Antonio, Ronaldo, kind of letting the team down really.
Yeah, it's unlucky. For me, my main team got 92 points, mainly thanks to obviously a Gallagher captaincy, Salah and Kane captaincy. It was captaincy returns which did the business there. That's up to 244th.
Oh, nice.
And then my B team, that's 2.9k. That only got 77 points this week. Partly down to quite a few no-shows. You know, Rudiger no-show, Diaz only coming off the bench, Rafinha no-show, and as you know, the likes of Sarr and Antonio in there. So I'm not overly fussed about that one. I'm taking a few risks in it, so we'll see how it ticks along. That's got 2.4 million in the bank for that team. So if I want to, I can make a few jumps there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, to be fair. Quickly looking at the fixtures this weekend before we then jump on to community questions. Captaincies for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Where are you thinking?
Friday, it depends who I have. So Ben White, unless I make transfers. Those that own obviously like Aubameyang or whoever, go for them.
Yeah.
Saturday, I think if you don't have him, then and he plays, then Lukaku will obviously be a great shout. But if not, whichever defender starts,
Yep.
if you own them for Chelsea, I think would be a great pick. You
Agreed.
almost guaranteed passing tier and a clean sheet probably. And on the Sunday,
it's tough.
It is tough. West Ham are always good against Spurs.
They are.
But
I honestly think Salah.
On current form, yeah. Mo Salah against Man United, I think there's goals there.
Exactly. I think you have to. I mean, he's 92.5% owned in the top 1k. If you don't captain him and Salah goes big against United, and we've seen obviously Leicester score 4, you're going to suffer because Salah's going to be at the front of that. And yeah, I think Liverpool will really want to get one over Man United. So yeah, for me, I'd probably be going Salah with the fact that I've got Kane and Antonio. You know, if they get a few goals against each other, I'm getting a few extra points. But yeah, I'll be on Salah for that one. Just want to touch on the fixtures then before we get on to community questions. And finally, we received them. It was the November and December fixtures, and there's a few standouts. So obviously we know November the 1st was that Wolves Everton single game day. Turns out we actually need to hold those Everton assets for quite a while because Everton Arsenal is on Monday the 6th. So obviously you could hold your Arsenal assets. I think it's unlikely. Say you're on Aubameyang, you'd want to hold him. But Everton Arsenal is on Monday the 6th. You've then got Everton Leicester on Monday the 20th of December. And Everton have also, I am sure I've seen it elsewhere. Oh wait, no, it was the three. So obviously then you've got the Everton Wolves as the first, but they've been drummed up for two other single game days in December. I think the likes of Damari Gray probably likely to stay in my team until well in the new year now. The other points to note, the fact that, I mean, this is talking well in advance now. Monday the 3rd of January, Wolves Man United, single game day. Friday the 10th of December is an interesting one. Watford versus Brentford is the single game day.
That is interesting, and I think I'd be more inclined to go down that Brentford route.
Agreed. Yeah, that might be a good opportunity to bring in the likes of Mbeumo. I think.
Yeah, or save a bit of cash and go for one of the defenders.
Yeah. The likes of Pinnock, for instance, could be a good shout there. Or even if you were sick of Antonio by then, you could always move to an Ivan Toney, for instance, for a few games, because I think Brentford's fixtures generally aren't too bad. From that point, they've got Watford, they've got Man United, but then they've got Saints, they've got Brighton, they've got Villa. It's not too shabby, and the games in which Toney could potentially get goals.
Agreed.
And then the other point to note is the fact that I think it's quite obvious you're probably not really looking for a Man United asset until their first single game day, which is Monday the 27th of December, and that's against Newcastle. And that's the point in which I'll probably look to bring Ronaldo back, given they've then got the Newcastle game, the Burnley game, and the Wolves game. There is the Crystal Palace Norwich period, mid-December. I'm not sure I'm going to go back that early. I'll probably wait until that single, and that might be a good time to really jump on Man United assets if they've improved.
Yeah, fair shout.
But yeah, that's all available. I think FF stuff, it's on their website. If you're a Planet FPL patron, James has got a brilliant spreadsheet there, and obviously Ian Parron with his fixture spreadsheet. That's what I've kind of looked at and what I've used. All really handy tools, and I think essential for planning, particularly over that busy December period. Finally then, James, we'll jump on to the three questions that we've got in. First things first, it's from FF Dempsey. Anything of note from the December-January fixture release? Well, I think we've just touched on it, so hopefully that summarised it. But if you do have any other questions, mate, or anything you want to chat about, feel free to DM. I know we're in a group together as well on Twitter, so I'm happy to discuss anything. But yeah, I think just the main standouts is the fact that Everton single game days, that horrible Watford Brentford, and then maybe the period in which we should be jumping on Man United. Second question in is FPL Glasto. If Decore is facing an extended period on the sidelines, who should be a replacement? Any thoughts?
Obviously you could go like for like, get another Everton player in with this announcement.
Yeah.
Bit Gray, Townsend, whoever, maybe even wait if you can change formation and go for a DCL or a Richarlison.
Yeah, I was going to say
might be a decent option. If you're looking for just to get another midfielder, obviously Højbjerg. Let's throw him out there again. He keeps returning. Tielemans would be a good pick if you can stretch to Tielemans. I don't think he's too much more expensive. I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll have a quick look, to be honest.
Have a look.
I can have a quick look now for you.
There's Tielemans.
8.7 million.
Oh, yeah, bit of a stretch.
Bit of a jump.
Maybe you can get there if you've got some funds. If not, look. Not sure. Sure, actually.
I think it's really unfortunate if you are on Decore, obviously with the injury there. I guess it just depends on what you want to target. It's whether you want to target those single game days this early on, or whether you want to move elsewhere and then reassess when we come back to those singles. Because you might find that you don't necessarily want it to be an Everton player. You might want to cover the singles with the opposition. So I think, something to keep an eye on. But for me, Damari Gray, if you do want to, because we are going to need Everton coverage for the foreseeable. Final question, and then from Steve Wright at Steve Sky FF. Is 5-3-2 the optimal formation with just rotating big hitters going forward? I've had 3 up front all season, but feel an extra Chelsea City defender offers better value and more consistency than that third striker spot.
It's a fair shout. because there are a lot of decent defensive options. Obviously, you got sort of the Chelsea boys, Cancelo, one of Trent or Robbo. If you can get one of them as well, that looks pretty good.
It's something I'm considering because I'm on Antonio. Obviously, I've got Salah, Kane, and Antonio in my main team. There isn't a good point to jump off of West Ham because they seem to always play on a Sunday, obviously with the Europa League and whatnot. But I might just have to bite the bullet and go, say, an Antonio back to a Chelsea defender. Probably Man City, to be honest. I'd like maybe Cancelo. I don't think I could afford Diaz with the formation that I've got at the moment. But I've got 4 in midfield, and again, a Benrahma could very easily become a cheaper defensive asset to free up funds, or an Mbeumo to then allow Antonio to be upgraded to a DS with the money there. So I wouldn't be against going 5-3-2. I've seen it spoken about a lot already, and particularly in my B team, I'm already on 4 defenders. I've got Rudiger, Matip, DS, and Azpilicueta there. I wouldn't be against bringing in a Cancelo and having 2 Chelsea and 2 Man City because, like you said, I think that's where the points are. Regularly, you're picking up 10 pointers, and that's what you want in Sky.
Definitely is.
Right. Hopefully, that's summarised the Sky Game Week for you then, and maybe giving you a little bit of food for thought for the weekend ahead, and also just a bit of a push to maybe start planning a little bit further on now that we've got those fixtures. Yeah, we all know that injuries and stuff can come up and really piss us off and ruin some planning. Like Decore, for instance, I've seen that someone brought him in last week, and now obviously really unfortunate that he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. But that's why we've got 40 transfers. So good luck, everybody. There's some big decisions to be made at the weekend, and we look forward to chatting to you next week. It's a goodbye from me, James.
And goodbye from me.
Cheers, guys.